What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Dallas, Texas, Season 3, Episode 1. Shout out to the detail. Like, you see the smile on my face? Like, I am watching this show, man. I see everything that I know where it is. I'm like, oh, I know that place. Oh, I know where it is. Oh, I know where it is. It's like mad fucking cool to actually sit here and watch this show and know where stuff is. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the season opener was with Brandi Redmond, and I absolutely love all the girls with the exception of Cameron. But Brandi is like number one on my list of the Dallas. Actually, Brandi and Stephanie are number 1 and 2, maybe. I don't know. It changes. Like I said, I love all of them. I love Brandi. I love Stephanie. Damn, I sound so fucking country. I love Brandi, Stephanie, Leanne, Deandra, and Carrie. Again, don't like, what's that girl name? Cameron. And I'll get into that a little later when I get to Cameron, and I'll tell you guys why I don't really care for Cameron. But like I said, the season opened up with Brandi. And as everyone should know by now, Brandi has adopted a son. His name is Bruin. And I think it was so cute. I actually saw when she adopted him. I saw it on, it posted on Twitter, and I was like, oh my God. I thought Brandi was pregnant because when I saw the picture of Bruin, I saw the red hair. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he has red hair just like Brandi. I'm like that, and I'm like, and I actually in their off season, I followed everything with the Real Housewives of Dallas on Twitter. So I'm like, I never heard that Brandi was pregnant. I'm like, damn, she hit that very well. But come to find out, she actually adopted Bruin, and she has Stephanie to thank for that. Stephanie has a friend who owns a big adoption agency here in Texas. And, he reached out to Stephanie and he told her that, he had a baby boy. They needed a home. And immediately she thought of Brandi. And I'm like, that's a true friendship right there. The fact that Stephanie thought about her friend Brandi, and she texts Brandi, and she talking about Brandi thought she was talking about a dog, and like I said, I think that's mad cool, and that just shows what good friends Brandi and Stephanie are to each other. And like I said, I love Brandi and Stephanie's relationship with one another. Like, it's so cool and refreshing to see that. And like I said, it's really odd to looking at Bruin. He has Brandi's hair color and her eye color. But when you look at him, he actually looks like her husband, Brian, in the face. I'm like, God made that little boy specifically for Brandi and Brian and their girls. And, Brandi was talking about how she had actually talked to her girls about having another kid. But, they showed the little clip of the girls, and the girls didn't want a baby. But now, 2 weeks later, I don't know, not 2 weeks later from when she talked to the girls, but, 2 weeks after when Stephanie told her about this, she now has a little boy, and the girls have her brother. And, it's kind of hard for her because, she never went through a pregnancy for 9 months. So she didn't have time to prepare the girls for it. Mommy had to go to the hospital to have the baby. They just left her and Brian left the house one day to go pick up little baby Bruin. And now they're bringing him home to the girls. But I mean, like I said, I think that is so cool. And it takes a big person to adopt a child that's not theirs and love someone else's child. I think that is very big. Like, my mother adopted me in my family, and for years I always said I would never adopt. But now, as I'm getting older and I realize, the love that my mom gave me, I'm like, what? There's nothing wrong with adopting. So, shout out to you, Brandi, and kudos to you, Brandi. And I'm really happy for Brandi and Brian having a baby. Kudos to them, and I hope he brings you guys so much joy. And talking about all this stuff, I actually forgot to mention that Brandi was in the car with baby Bruin. She was going shopping to buy some stuff for him, and she called Stephanie to have Stephanie come down and join her and all that kind of stuff. And this just shows that I know so much about Dallas because I kind of know what area Brandi lives in, just a little. I actually know what area she lives in. I don't know where she lives, and I'm not trying to find out where Brandi lives. So, putting that at that, because I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I know where. I'm like, that's Dallas North Tollway. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, that's the Jason Deli over here in the Addison area. I'm like, oh my God, like, I know what area Brandy's. It's cool to watch this show and to see stuff around around Dallas, and I'm like, oh my god, like I know where they are. Like I had a good idea last year where Brandy lived at when you know, Big Bird Cameron was talking about it. I'm like, Brandy and I said it, and I'm not gonna say what areas I thought she would live in because that would kind of give some stuff away. But I thought she lived either close to where I used to live last year or not that far from where I was living last year. But I was correct. Okay, and then we have Brandi and Stephanie. They are meeting up to shop for baby Bruin. And when Stephanie comes in, she lays eyes on Bruin and she starts crying. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Like I love their friendship. And I love the fact that, you know, when her friend brought up the baby boy, that she immediately thought of Brandi like that. That says a lot about how she values Brandi and she thinks about Brandi. You know, despite what people see on TV and what people say on social media about Brandi, Stephanie sees a completely different side than what we see. And, you know, like I said, this was God's plan all along for Brandi, you know, because I know Brandi had a miscarriage, you know, sometime last year, Brandi had a miscarriage. So it's really cool to see, you know, yeah, you had a miscarriage and God had a way of saying, you know, that wasn't what I wanted for you. I have something else in store for you. So I absolutely 100% love that. Like I said, I love all the relationships on this show because I think they're all genuine and authentic. And like I said, I just really love this. I love this show. I really hope people support this show because it definitely deserves the praise that it gets. And it's also nominated for a Emmy, I believe, or something like that. It's nominated for an award, and it's the only Housewives show that is nominated. And that says something about Real Housewives of Dallas. I know a lot of people don't watch it, but whatever. And, you know, while Brandi and Stephanie are sitting down, they're talking about who does and who doesn't know about Brandi adopting baby Bruin. So Carrie doesn't know that she adopted him, and when it comes to the other girls, specifically Leanne, Deandra, and Cameron, that's her name, right? I always forget her. I really, like I said, couldn't care less about the girl. No offense to her, but I just couldn't care less about her. And like I said, I will tell you guys later why I really don't like her. But Brandi says that she'll tell those girls when she feels that the time is right. And I respect that. You know, she's not best friends with Deandra. She's not best friends with Leanne. And she definitely ain't best friends with Cameron. So I definitely understand where she's coming from. She has to feel like the time is right for her to tell them about her son. All right, so Brandi and Stephanie, they are going to get manicures and pedicures. And, you know, Stephanie is talking about Deandra's party that she's having. Brandi said that she's not going to Deandra's party because last season, when Deandra, Leanne, and Cameron sat down, Deandra said that Brandi has squinty eyes. I'm sorry to laugh. It is a little funny, but I'm sorry to laugh. And then she's also talking about how Deandra did a podcast, and Deandra was talking about how she thinks, she's talking about Brandi taking Adderall. And Brandi said, well, I do take Adderall because I have a prescription from it. It's prescribed by my doctor, so I take it whenever I need it. And, you know, so that's why Brandi is not going to go to Deandra's party. And, you know, they are talking about Leanne. And, you know, Stephanie is telling, you know, Brandi that Carrie is meeting up with Leanne today. And, you know, Brandi really just does not want to talk about Leanne because she feels like, you know, Leanne tries to blame everybody else for her own problems, which, I have to, I mean, like I said, I like all the girls, but I do have to agree with Brandi. Like some of the stuff Leanne was saying last season, she did try to play it off, especially the comment that she made when she was under sedation. She played it off as if it wasn't, you know, what Brandi was saying it was, which it actually was. So, you know, I do have to agree with Brandi that Leanne does deflect and try to place blame on other people. So, like I said, I have to agree with that. Although I do like Leanne, I like all the girls, but I have to be I'm trying not to be biased toward any of them because I like them all. But like I said, I agree with her. And, you know, Stephanie is basically saying to Brandi that, you know, after all the things that Leanne has done to Carrie, she couldn't be friends with Leanne, and I absolutely 100% agree with Stephanie on that one. Like, there is no way in high fucking hell I would be friends with Leanne after all the stuff that Leanne has said about Carrie. Like, this shit has been going on between Carrie and Leanne since season 1. And, last season, at the beginning of the season, it appeared that they had kind of moved past the stuff from season 1, but Leanne and Carrie got back into it again. So I'm in agreement with Stephanie. Like, I don't know if I would ever want to be cool with Leanne or even be cordial with Leanne. I'd be like, we can be in the same room, but I really have nothing to say to Leanne. Leanne can stay on that side and I can stay on this side. Leanne and I never have to cross paths with each other. But unfortunately for Leanne and Carrie, they are filming a reality show, so they have to film with each other. Now, that's the only difference between anything right now, is the fact that they are on a reality show and they film with each other. Okay, so we move over to Leanne. Leanne is on something completely different this year. She wants to be a different person. She wants to be a better person than what she was the last 2 seasons. So she and Deandra, they are meeting up to do meditation. And, Deandra's there just basically to support Leanne. And I absolutely, like with Brandi and Stephanie's relationship, I love Leanne and Deandra's relationship because Deandra's a good friend to Leanne. But at the same time, when Leanne does some shit that Deandra doesn't agree with, Deandra is right there to call Leanne out on her bullshit, and I absolutely love that. Last season when Deandra came onto Real Housewives of Dallas, and I found out that Leanne and Deandra were best friends, I was a little bit skeptical about Deandra joining the show because I'm like, okay, that's Deandra and Leanne are best friends, and I initially thought that Deandra was going to be the type of best friend who would co-sign anything that Leanne did if she was right or wrong. But I absolutely love the fact that Deandra does not do that. Deandra does stand up for her friend when she needs to be stood up for. But when Leanne is wrong, Deandra has no problem saying, Leanne, you were dead fucking wrong. And like I said, I respect that about Deandra and Leanne's relationship, just like I respect Stephanie and Brandi's relationship. So they meet with the instructor. All I remember was his last name was Sunshine. I forgot what his first name was. And, they go in there and they do the meditation. And he asked them, why are they there? And Leanne is like, she's there because of her anger issues. And then she goes in to tell him that, she's done some research and she found out that inside the mind, we have this thing called an amygdala. And, it grows over time. It can grow from child abuse or, what did she say? Child abuse or, what the fuck did she, or being tortured. And I'm actually in agreement, and I love, like I said, I love all these girls, but I'm actually in agreement with what Deandra said in her confessional. Like, Leanne, don't sit here and try to put this on an amygdala. I mean, I've heard of it before, but don't sit there and put it on. Take accountability. You have done some fucked up shit over the last 2 seasons. Just admit that you're wrong and go forward with it. So, like I said, I agreed with Deandra on that. And, Leanne's whole thing is with Brandi, Carrie, and Stephanie. It's so easy for Brandi, Carrie, and Stephanie to always see evil Leanne. So this year she wants them to focus on a different side of Leanne. And I'm actually hoping that this season we do see a different side of Leanne, because I haven't liked what I saw from Leanne the last 2 seasons. Although I do like Leanne, I just haven't liked some of the stuff that she said, and specifically the stuff that she said about Carrie. I don't think that the stuff that she said about Carrie was right. You know what I'm saying? Especially the stuff that she said about Carrie and Mark. Like, I never understood why Leanne attacked Carrie and Mark. Excuse me. I never understood why Leanne attacked Carrie and Mark's marriage, and I never understood why she always attacked Mark's sexuality. Like, I just didn't understand that. And Leanne has gay friends. Like, I didn't understand that, to be quite honest with you. So I'm hoping that we do see a different side of Leanne this season. Okay, so we have Leanne and Rich. Leanne and Rich are going suit shopping for him. Leanne lets us know that Rich wears an eye patch on his eye because his vision in his eye is completely gone. So they are in, like I said, they're in the car and they're talking. And she's basically talking about Deandra's anniversary party that's coming up. All the girls are going to be there. And, this is going to be the first time that she saw them, I guess, since the reunion last year. And, Rich is like, he doesn't have a problem with any of the girls. He actually likes all the girls. And, Leanne is talking about Carrie. And, basically she's saying that she wants to have a sit down with Carrie before the dinner that Deandra's having. And Rich is like, well, why don't you call her? So, Leanne is like, okay. Leanne calls her. I'm sorry, this whole scene, I was laughing on my couch at this scene. Because when Carrie picked up the phone, Leanne was like, hey, girl. Carrie was like, hey, girl. It would have went a completely different way. Leanne, I love you. But it would have went a different way if it was me and you had talked shit about me and all that kind of stuff. I would have been like, you would have been, first of all, sorry, Leanne, you would either have been blocked from my phone or I would have deleted your number. So here you go. So here it is. You calling me. Hey, girl. Who is this? Leanne. Leanne who? Leanne Locken. Girl, what the hell do you want from me? And then, it would have been, so she would have been like, I'm going into the conversation that they had. So she said, hey, girl. And, basically Leanne is telling Carrie that, I want to sit down with you. I want to have a conversation with you before we actually go to Deandra's party because Leanne doesn't want there to be any animosity, anything negative at Deandra's party. And I absolutely respect that because, again, that's her best friend. And she wants Deandra to have a good party. And I respect that. So, Carrie sounded a little hesitant at first. And I absolutely understand why Carrie is hesitant. Because, again, the shit that Leanne said, especially the shit that she said last year when she got her boobs done and she was under sedation when she was talking to Brandi talking about, they're just hands. They're just hands. So, I absolutely understood why Carrie was hesitant in that whole situation. But Carrie does agree to sit down with Leanne and have lunch or breakfast or drink with her. So we'll see how that goes. And then we move over to Deandra. Deandra and Jeremy, they are planning their 4th wedding anniversary. So they're meeting with some caterers so that they can go over their menu and all that kind of stuff. So, they taste the food and all that kind of stuff. And, they sit down and then Deandra brings out the guest list and they talk about who all is invited to the party. She also says that she lets us know that she's having his anniversary at her friend, what is his name? Bill Hutchinson. Is he by chance related to Kay Bailey Hutchinson, the House of was she in the House of Representatives or the Senate? Can't remember. Actually met Kay Bailey Hutchinson like 2 years ago when I used to work for Hertz. She was a nice woman. She was really nice to me. I was expecting her to be a little bit meaner to me because I didn't have a car for her at that time, but she understood. I told her I was by myself and, she gave me some time. I can go get her a car, clean it up and be ready, and it would be ready for her in about an hour. And she said, okay. And that was that. I got off track. Sorry, y'all. Wasn't trying to get off track. That's just how much damn, you can really tell that I know a lot about Dallas because you can tell that I live here, put it that way. But like I said, back to Deandra. They're going over her list of people that are coming. And, her Mama D is coming. And, remember last season, Deandra, at the end of the season, Mama D gave Deandra the key to the company. But Deandra lets us know that soon after that, Mama D took the keys back from her and that they haven't talked to each other in a while. I don't know how long this has been, but they're not talking to each other. And, her mama is invited to her anniversary party. And, Deandra's just not sure how this is going to go since they haven't been communicating with each other. And Jeremy's whole thing was, Deandra just needs to sit down, have a conversation with her mama, and kind of, stand up for herself. And I absolutely agree with that. I definitely believe that Deandra needs to stand up to her mama. But when I say stand up to her mom, she just needs to, be like, Mom, how do I want to say this and be she needs to be respectful to her mother when she sits down and have a conversation with her. But just sit down and be like, Mama, I get it. You want me to do so much and I'm doing what I can to prove myself to you, but you have to take a leap of faith and give me these keys to run this business and go on faith that you raised me well enough. I have the business acumen to run this place and all that kind of stuff. You just have to sit down and explain your case to her, and again, respectfully explain your case to a Deandra. And maybe she'll be like, you know what? You came to me like this. I'll give you the keys. Who knows? Maybe she will. Maybe she won't. And then we move over to the person who, again, like I said, can care less about Cameron Westcott. So I'm gonna get this out real quickly, as quick as I can, because I really couldn't care less about her. So it's gonna be very, very quick. She's talking to her husband Court about her dumbass company, Sparkle Dog Food, which I don't give a fuck about. It's about the pink dog food and dogs are fucking colorblind, so they can't see that bullshit. Again, whatever. And Court is like, in order for it to make sense, her not spending time with, spending as much time away from the family, the business has to make a profit. And with the business, she wants to bring in a distributor because it's only sold in select little boutique stores and on Amazon. Don't give a fuck. She's talking about how, when she married Court, she was wanting to go to New York to do textiles for her master's. I'm like, how the hell did you? Yeah, you married into a family with money, but what the fuck did that have to do with you not, pursuing your master's? Like, there's a such thing as called online classes. Whatever, Cameron, don't care. So that's basically it with Cameron. Quick, done, over. So the reason why I do not like Cameron, the reason why I don't like Cameron is the shit that she said to Brandi last season about where Brandi lived and not having class and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was tacky and disrespectful as fuck to people who live in Plano, Addison, anywhere but Highland fucking Park. Just because, like I said, I used to live in Plano. My zip code was 75024. So what the fuck does that mean? And if you know anything about Plano, that area is actually up and coming. The Willow Bend area, there's a lot of wealthy people that live in Willow Bend, and Plano is borderline. It's a borderline. You got Plano and you got Frisco. If you know anything about Dallas, you know that Jerry Jones, although I can't stand what he's doing right now with the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones has the Cowboys training field out there in Frisco that he opened up out there. That shit is brand new. It's a lot of money out there in Frisco. So I did not respect her when she was talking about Brandi's zip code and not having class and all that kind of stuff, just because she brought sexual chocolate on their trip with them. Like, I thought that was stupid as fuck. Brandi just was having a good time with your dumb ass, and here you are talking about where she lives and not having class and all that kind of stuff, and because of her zip code. Like, just because you live in Highland Park, that does not entitle you to anything. That don't mean nothing good or bad about you. And first of all, you married into money, so it's not like you came from money. So I don't get how you can sit here and pass judgment on that girl when you didn't even grow up here in Dallas, and you weren't rich. So that's why I don't like Cameron, and that's why when it comes to the Real Housewives of Dallas and any scene with Cameron in it, I'm gonna go through it just as quickly as I can, because I don't really care to talk about her, and it's a review, so I'm not gonna omit her from my review, but I'm just gonna breeze right through Cameron. And this went over what I wanted to go over, but that's just how I feel about Cameron. I can't really sit here and talk about the girl because I felt completely disrespected last year, even though she doesn't know me and I don't know her, but I just felt disrespected that she downed a zip code because of where she currently lives at. I thought that was mad fucking disrespectful. All right, so we get Carrie and Leanne. They are sitting down. Carrie is already there. She's ordering her food. She ordered it to go because she wasn't quite sure of how things were going to go between her and Leanne. So Leanne comes in. She sits down, and they start talking. And Leanne's whole thing is, when she walks in there, she's like, she doesn't know what to expect. And the whole thing is, she feels like, she doesn't want it to be where, she and Carrie can be like, okay, let's move forward, let's be cool. And then once Leanne gets up from the table, Carrie calls Brandi and Stephanie and basically tells Brandi and Stephanie some, talk shit about Leanne. And I get that because, like I said, I'm gonna be biased when it comes to the girls, although I do like them. But that has been a thing with Brandi, Stephanie, and Carrie. It seems like they do try to make up with Leanne, and then once things go sour with Leanne, then they start talking. It seems like, to me, as a viewer, it seems like they begin to talk shit about Leanne after, even the smallest thing happens. Like last season when Brandi, Carrie, and Stephanie had that lunch with each other, and they were all at that table talking about Leanne, and so I definitely understand where Leanne is coming from, because it does always appear that way. When it was after that Mexico trip last year, when they came back, it felt like, to me, as a viewer, again, it felt like Brandi, Carrie, and Stephanie banded together to bash Leanne and talk shit about Leanne. So I definitely get where Leanne is coming from. She doesn't want to be blindsided. She doesn't want to feel like, hey, me and Carrie are making some leeway with each other, but then I get up from this table and Carrie goes and calls Brandi and Stephanie, and then they just bash the shit out of me afterwards. So I definitely understand where Leanne is coming from with that. And Carrie is just basically telling Leanne that she's been hurt by the things that Leanne said, which rightfully so she should be, because Leanne has came for her husband and her marriage. And I get that Leanne is friends with Mark's ex-wife, but you have to subtract yourself from that, because that was not your marriage. I get that that's your friend, but you can still be friends with his ex-wife, but you have to respect his current wife, which is Carrie. And if Carrie says that there was nothing going on between her and Mark, you guys need to leave it at that. You guys don't know what happened in Mark and his ex-wife's relationship, and you don't know what's going on between between Carrie and Mark prior to them getting married. So, like I said, I get Leanne is friends with the ex-wife, but you can still be loyal and friends with his ex-wife, and be like, you know what, I'm cool with Carrie. I'm not gonna badmouth Carrie around you, and I'm not gonna badmouth you around Carrie, and just keep it at that. And Carrie also says that she just wants Leanne to respect her, which I agree with that. Leanne should 100% respect Carrie, and she should stop bringing up her marriage and her husband. That's what Leanne needs to do. And Leanne also feels that she's afraid that anything she says can get twisted around. Basically, she feels like, again, that Carrie can take it to Brandi and Stephanie and completely flip whatever Leanne says. And I absolutely see that as well. So Leanne apologizes to Carrie, and she says that she just wants to move on with Carrie and be able to peacefully coexist with each other, which they should be able to do that. I don't see why they can't. But Leanne also wants to get to the point where she and Carrie they can sit down with each other, have lunch dates, have catch-up dates. And Carrie tells Leanne that she's not at that point right now where she wants to either be friends with Leanne, or she wants to be that close, that tight with Leanne, where they sit down and catch up with each other. And I get that. And they mentioned how, like I said last year, they were cool with each other. Anytime they were in the same vicinity of each other, they would speak to each other. And Leanne just felt like it was fake. And Carrie's like, what? She was just sugarcoating shit last year. And I knew Carrie was sugarcoating shit with Leanne last year. And I was kind of upset that she was doing that. I didn't feel like she needed to do that. I'm like, Carrie, just tell the girl, I don't like you. I'm only around you for filming purposes. And that's it. And leave it at that. So, Leanne is asking Carrie, how is the business going? Because last season, Carrie stepped back from her practice with Mark to go be home with her daughter, Zuri, full-time, and work part-time with Mark. But now this year, she has a laser center that she's doing, and it's on Lemon Avenue, which I know where that is. And Carrie, how much is it for the laser hair? And how long does it last? Like, I am interested in that shit for real, because I need to get. I'm trying to get the laser hair on my back, because my back hair is horrible. So I'm gonna reach out to you, because I really do want to know how much it costs and how long does it sit. Like, I'm actually really looking for. I want to know a little bit more about it. And now we are getting ready for Deandra and Jeremy's anniversary party. So, I'm going to have to be honest with you, Deandra. I absolutely hated that dress. It was ugly as hell. Sorry, Deandra. Like I said, I love you, but that dress was just ugly to me. So Deandra lets us know that she has a house full of people. She has Jeremy's mom and dad there. She has her sister-in-law there. She has her niece Addie there, and she has Jeremy's youngest son. What was his name? Shit, I forgot his name. I really forgot his name. Sorry, y'all. I wrote it down, but I can't pronounce it. And Deandra's telling us how right now, with the relationship that she has with her mom, it's nice to have her in-laws there because the love and support that she feels from her, it just means a lot to them. And I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I'm happy that she's happy her in-laws are showing her support, but I feel like I said earlier, Deandra just needs to sit down with her mom, have a conversation with her mother respectfully, and just stand her ground with her mama. And I think that might make a big difference in a lot of things with Deandra and her mother. I don't know, but I just feel that if Deandra just stands her ground, things could change with her and her mother. So Leanne and Rich, they are getting ready to head to the party. They're in a limo, and Leanne lets us know that she and Rich have been engaged for a year, which I knew that. They got engaged in 2016 at the state fair. Actually, that's come up on 2 years now because the fair will start in September. Sorry, y'all. I thought I heard somebody at my door. I'm like, who the hell is at my door at this time of night? It's like 11 o'clock at night, and who the fuck is at my door? But moving on. Like I said, Leanne and Rich, they have been engaged since, I believe, 2016 State Fair, which is actually coming up in September. So that's been almost 2 years. I don't know if they have a wedding date yet. I haven't really looked at Leanne's Twitter lately, so I don't know if they have one. But at this time that they were filming, which was the end of last year, early this year, they hadn't had a wedding date set. And Leanne also lets us know that Rich has been married 3 times. I'm like, damn. Yeah, he's been married 3 times. So moving on. So now Deandra is at Bill Hutchinson's house. Now she knows that Brandi is not coming because she gets a text from Brandi saying that she's not coming, and Deandra's really confused as to why Brandi is not coming. And they show a scene where she and Leanne were talking the day before about Brandi having an issue with Deandra, but Deandra just doesn't know what the issue is. And my question to Deandra is, when did you call Brandi and leave a message for her? Was that day or was it prior to that? That's what I want to know. When did you leave this message for Brandi? So she's rearranging the seating chart and all that kind of stuff. She puts Leanne and Stephanie by each other, and I'm like, is that a good idea to put those two by each other? But we'll see how that goes. And so we get the guests there. Everyone shows up. All the girls are there minus Brandi, and then Mama D shows up. And Cameron, again, like, I really don't like Cameron. And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, anybody who's watching this video can obviously tell that I don't like the girl. She shades Deandra, talking about her celebrating her fourth anniversary, and my whole thing is, let her celebrate whatever the hell she wants to celebrate. At least she's celebrating her wedding anniversary and not celebrating a divorce that she's getting. So I don't see how Cameron can even sit there and judge her or make a comment about that. And then Cameron and Stephanie are good with each other. Don't really care. Moving on. So you got Mama D. She's over to the side with her date, and this scene right here kind of threw me for a loop because I really thought this was horrible. You are at your daughter's anniversary party, and then you sit here talking about nobody believed that she would be happily married because she had a few experiences in the past. I don't know what that meant by Deandra had a few experiences, but I'm pretty sure we'll touch on that at some point in the season. And Leanne shows up, and she and Carrie hug each other, and Cameron is taken aback, like, oh my god, they're hugging each other, this is good. And I'm like, okay, Cameron, whatever. And Mama D is in the back because Leanne is talking about, again, Deandra being married, happily married, and all that kind of stuff. And Mama D says she never believed that Deandra would find love, and I'm like, why didn't you believe that she would ever find love? Explain that. Like, is there something that we're missing when it comes to Deandra? Because I think Deandra's an absolute amazing person. So I didn't understand where that was coming from. And so like I said, they all go. They had their seating chart, so they all go sit down. And Stephanie said she had a dream that she sat by Leanne, and this is her worst nightmare come true. And so they sit down, and they start talking to each other. And the first thing Leanne noticed was her name was spelled incorrectly on her seating, her little place card. It's spelled Leeann, but it actually has an E at the end of Leanne. And Leanne and Stephanie are absolutely getting along with each other. And Kara's like, if you give Stephanie some wine, she'll have fun with anybody. Which we do see that if you give Stephanie some wine, she will have fun with you. And then you got Carrie and Cameron over there talking about how with Leanne and Carrie making up, Carrie just feels like a huge weight has been lifted off her shoulders. And I'm actually happy that Carrie feels like that, because she should have to feel like that. She shouldn't have to walk on eggshells when it comes to Leanne. So I'm happy for her. And then Bill gets up and he's talking about Deandra them, and then he's talking about how Leanne and Rich are going to get married. And Rich's face like, who said we was getting married? Leanne is like, I didn't know nothing about that. So, it was a to be continued episode, and that was the Real Housewives of Dallas. Let me know how you guys feel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment. And I will see you guys later.